Task number 3, reverse shells, is part of the shells overview room inside Cybersecurity 101 Learning Path on TryHackMe. We have a reverse shell, which is referred sometimes to connect back shell. It's one of the most popular techniques for gaining access to a system in cyber attacks. The connections initiate from the target system to the target machine. Right, so from this shell is initiated from the machine you want to hack to us, which can help avoid detection from network firewalls and other security appliances. How does the reverse shell work? Here we can see that we set up a netcat listener. Listen, verbose, and I don't remember what N is. DNS lookup. Okay, so prevents the connection from the DNS lookup, silent, and then P for port. Right, P indicates the port, L indicates the netcat is listening, and then V for verbose, right? And you can see here the prompt listening. Right, our listener has started gaining reverse shell access. Once we have our listener set, the attacker should execute what is known as a reverse shell payload. This payload usually abuses the vulnerability or unauthorized access granted by the attacker and executes a command that will expose the shell through the network. There is a variety of payload that will depend on the tools and OS of the compromised system. We can explore some of them over here. Yeah, so basically here you can see in pentestmonkey.com, here you have a reverse shell cheat sheet. Here we see different script languages, programming languages, and so on. This code that you see, for instance, for PHP, are snippets of code that can be used on the target machine for a reverse shell in order to connect to our listener. And here we can see an example. The code is divided by semicolon. So this is one part of the code, and it removes, we know the remove commands because on my channel, we already done the basics of Linux command line. So it removes any existing named pipe file located at temporary F. This ensures that the script can create a new name pipeline without conflict. The second command creates a named pipe or FIFO, first in, first out, right? At temporary F. Named pipes allow for two-way communication between processes. In this context, it can act as a conduit for input and output. And then we have this thing. Cat from temporary F reads data from the named pipeline. It waits for input that can be sent through the pipeline. Then pipe output of cat is piped to a shell instance bash-i, which allows the attacker to execute commands interactively. The next part redirects standard error. The next part redirects standard error to standard output, ensuring that error messages are sent back to the attacker. The next pipe, the shell output through netcat to the attacker's IP address on the attacker's port. And then we have the last one, sends the output of the commands back into the named pipe, allowing for bidirectional communications. The payload above can expose the shell bash through the network to the desired listener. Attacker receives the shell. Here we can see, after we run the command, the following output will be on the attacker's machine. Right? This is the command that we will run on our machine. And this is what we will see on the vulnerable machine. Okay, now let's try this out. This is the attack box. Let's open the terminal. But we have to go to the target machine. In the target machine, we use this command. We open up a port. Netcat LVNP, but we open port 9852. We go back to the attack box. And let's see. Let's go back to the clipboard and copy it from here. Okay, let's see. Attacker IP. Attacker IP. We see it over here. It's a 10. It's a 67. It's a 156. It's a 170. Port. Let's see. What was the port? 9852. I think. Let's see. Let's go back to 9852. That's good. Control Shift T. IPA. ANS 5. You can see the vulnerable machine IP. All right, let's go back to attacking box. Hit it. Go back to the target machine. Connection received. Who am I? I'm Ru, baby. There you go. That's how a reverse shell is done, right? So we have access to a target machine and we have our hacking machine, our desktop machine, right? From which our usual PC. But this connection that we have here, this Windows machine, we have a root connection to that IP that you just saw, this IP. And we just create a reverse shell by using netcat. We open up a port on this machine, and from our target machine, we just use the command that you saw over here. And on the target machine, we have access to a reverse shell in order to do some stuff. Answer the questions below. What type of a shell? Okay, come on. I don't even have reverse shell. I don't even have to read the question in order to answer to them. What tool is commonly used to set is... What tool? Netcat.